Nearly 4 years ago, on September of 2017, Technoblade realizes that he is only a few wins away from reaching the world record of 374. Back then, that was the world record for the highest win streak in Bedwars. He ends up losing the win streak at 1400, which is nearly 4 times the old win streak world record. A few months later, Defone decides to try and beat this and ends up getting 1818. But ever since then, there has been no one who has really challenged their win streak. A few people have come fairly close. They've still lost hundreds of wins away from passing them. Why is that? And what is causing this lack of progress in new win streak records? There is basically one big reason that new parties aren't able to really beat Technoblade's win streak. People have tried and some have come close, such as the Bombies win streak party, which I think ended at around 1100, which is close, but at the same time it's also still hundreds of wins away from the world record. The one major reason for this is obviously snipers. If you don't know already, sniping is basically the practice of finding people with high win streaks or with really high stats, or generally people that these organizations don't like, and just sniping them by trying to get into their games and just cheating on them to give them a loss, which obviously will end the win streak or ruin their stats. Back in 2017 and early 2018, when most of these win streak records were achieved, snipers did exist, but they weren't nearly at the scale or where they are today. Obviously, Technoblade did encounter a team of fly hackers, but obviously back then, clients weren't nearly as advanced as they were today, so they were actually able to beat the fly hackers. Towards the end of the win streak, they had a team of mods spectating their game, so I think when they were around 900, they had encountered a fly hacker, but they were just banned very quickly. So basically, the lack of sniping and the lack of development in hack clients early on in the win streak allowed them to get high enough, and when they were pretty high, the staff team obviously helped them out by spectating their games. However, towards the end of 2018, an organization called the ESSR sprang up, which basically stands for Eat, Sleep, Snipe, Repeat. It basically combined all of this sniping and developments in hack clients to start an organization of snipers. They would basically target on people they didn't like or had high win streaks or had high stats and compile them into a blacklist of people that they would try to snipe, and then they would just try and get in their games and snipe them. Obviously it's not that hard to snipe people, considering that firstly, if you don't have MVP++, you're going to be unnicked, which would it makes it extremely easy for them to snipe you. When you have so many snipers, it's really easy for one of them to get into your game. If you are nicked, at the same time, if your entire party is nicked, snipers generally, there are rumors that there is a de-nicking exploit where they can use this, but another way they could snipe, not an expert on this, is just by picking on these large parties, or I guess trying to find out the nicks of these players. All of this combined with the scale of how many snipers there are makes it fairly easy to snipe. Now you do have some people who will pay these sniping organizations or give them something to not snipe them, or basically add them to a safe list is the thing the sniper's trying to use. This basically obviously is just threatening players by ending their win streaks or stats and telling them to pay them so that they don't snipe them. Obviously, nowadays, there are many sniping organizations, and by getting a safe list on one, you might just get blacklisted on another one. Bombies was actually gifted a safe list on one of the sniping organizations, however, she ended up being blacklisted on another one, and I think at the end of the day, it was an independent sniper, Ket who ended up sniping her win streak. There is a whole video about it called The Mystery of Bombies Win Streak, which you can search up, and I probably will link in the description below. I also go into a lot of detail about this in my sniping related videos that I've made. This is why to get a high win streak, it already is an insane effort to do so. You would be logging on at really weird times of the day, getting your teammates to go on ults, you might be on an ult as well. It tends to be quite a struggle to get a win streak, and even with all the measures some people take by safe listing and doing all of that to try and get a win streak, they still end up getting sniped. Often, because of the scale of snipers, you can join a Bedwars 4's games with around a win streak that's probably high, but less than 100. And when you think about that, that's not all that high, and you will still get sniped. It really shows that these snipers do snipe anyone that they can find. So now that we know about how it is basically impossible to beat these two very high win streaks, is there any chance of a win streak record being broken? And the answer is yes, although not in overall probably. Solos is one area where snipers have struggled to, I guess, become big. There are far few numbers of snipers in solos compared to 3s and 4s where they're most prevalent. This is why win streak records have actually been broken fairly recently in solos compared to other modes. In terms of the snipers themselves, I have talked about Mojang's new update where it's going to be a migration to Microsoft accounts, and I did actually talk to one of the major players in Kcals, and he did say that I basically branched sniping into two different categories. Random sniping, which is just sniping people randomly find in games, such as people who may have just normally like high win streaks, such as 100 or something like that. And there is targeted sniping, which is sniping people that you specifically want to snipe, such as people with extremely high win streaks. Random sniping may be reduced a lot because people like snipers can't get ults anymore for such cheap prices, and buying Minecraft accounts and opening Microsoft accounts can be a bit challenging for snipers that usually would just buy hundreds of accounts in bulk for really cheap prices. Targeted sniping, however, will probably still continue since snipers seem to be pretty committed to what they're doing, and they probably would try and get accounts to snipe these people that they really want to snipe. For more information about this, you can obviously watch my video about Mojang's new update and how it will affect sniping. On Hypixel's then, there isn't actually that much that can be done about these snipers. After all, even if Hypixel had a great anti-cheat, which we all know it does, there's nothing stopping snipers from just going on a different account and just hacking by flying on them. Hypixel bans in waves, not instantly, so Hypixel would not be able to instantly ban these fly hackers. It only takes a few seconds to fly and b-hop on someone and end their win streak. Hypixel obviously will not do instant bans for a variety of reasons, the main one being that if Hypixel did do instant bans, it would be pretty easy to find out which cheats were not detected by Hypixel because they wouldn't be banned instantly. By banning in waves, client developers and users, I'm not sure which cheats can bypass the anti-cheat as easily, obviously. Obviously, it is pretty sad that this has happened, but there isn't too much that can be done, and it's all Technoblade and Defone got their records at a time when getting these records were possible without being sniped and targeted by all these organizations. While now, even though players are probably much better than they were back then compared to people like Technoblade, it's not possible to get such a high win streak just since there are people who will try and cheat on you and end your win streak just because they don't want you to get such a high win streak. And obviously since they would like to be paid or want money. Anyways, I hope this video helped you learn about why these records haven't been beaten for so long and why they probably will not be beaten. And at the end of the day, there isn't much we can do about this. However, I'm just making this so that you guys know about this, since there are a few people who still aren't aware. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next upload, which might be a little longer than usual since I'm actually planning quite a large upload for either the next upload or the one after that. But anyways, I will see you then. Goodbye.